left.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You unlock this door with the...
Junk, gunk, junk, gunk. What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Sorry, we're late.
Welcome,
Children are crazy.
internets. Welcome, YouTubes, to Two Fat Guys Pull List, episode 175
Billion
on this May 26th of 2024. And I had a really good week. I had a really fun week with my comics. I know exactly what my pick of the week is. I think everybody else knows what my pick of the week is. But, you know, we'll still talk about other books. But before we do that, we got to talk about, well, we got to get to the business, right? We got to talk about chat. We got to talk about our show sponsor. We got to talk about our milestone giveaways. And then we can talk about the books that we read today or this past week. And while I do that, I'm kind of like trying to stall for time because I'm not quite ready, even though we started 30 minutes
while
late.
you do that,
Okay.
John hit us with a super chat.
What up?
A lot of good reads this week. Rook Exodus, She-Hulk, and White Boat were my top three. What I liked a lot more. I would say over half of my pull list this week were minimum 4 stars. Like, it was just really solid reading this week.
Out of 5? Out of 5 stars?
4 out of 5. Yeah, out of 5.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. It's like you can say 4 out of like
8 out of 10 if you want.
Right,
16 to 20.
Okay,
if that
there you
makes
go.
happy.
Perfect. Thanks. That's more of what I'm looking for than that. But
What
John, we
about
do
32 out of 40.
Okay. John, we do appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for the support. And thank you to everybody else who is a member here on our channel. We do appreciate you. Joe, John, Holden, and Patty. Thank you so much for being fatties. I mean, we haven't officially named our members, but I'm just gonna say fatties because that's what it is. But anyway, let's talk about our show sponsor, which is Collecting Comics and Games here in the DFW area. And that's our LCS that me and Nate go to, where we pick up our books and all our other cool stuff like new comic books, back issues, trades, omnibuses, trading cards, D&D stuff, dice. I was about to say maps. I'm sure they have maps. Posters, action figures, models, slabs, snacks, pins, stickers, magnets, plushies, all that good stuff. And we would love, if you're in the DFW area, to check out Collected Comics and Games, because it's an amazing store. Actually, they have 3 stores, one in Fort Worth, one in Hearst, and one in Irvine. So definitely go check out Collected Comics and Games. And if you're not in the area, you can always hit up staycollected.com, where you can get all those things I just talked about and more. So there's no excuse to not go check out Collected Comics and Games. It's a great, awesome place that Brent and Ron have curated, and it's an amazing store, and we would love for you to go show them a little bit of love. So that'd be great. Also, let's talk about our milestone subscription giveaway. That's right, when we hit 1,250 subscribers, we're giving away this Uncanny X-Men #1 9.8 CGC grade, signed by Jim Chung. It's a great little book right here. We're going to give this away when we hit 1,250 subs. So if you're not already subbed, make sure to hit that sub button, ring that bell, and give us a like. And when we hit 2,000 subs, well, we have other slabs that we're giving away between this milestone giveaway to 2,000. But when we hit 2,000, We're giving away Thor #1 Nick Klein sketch variant, 9.8 CGC grade, signed by the great Donnie Cates. So you're going to want to make sure that you're subscribed because we're going to give away this bad boy when we hit it. So, all right, well, let's get to chat, and then we will talk about some comic books. And I've got some new headphones, and I'm not going to lie, it's kind of weirding me out right now because, like,
oh, no.
they're not completely over the ear. So, like, I can't, it's giving me a different vibe. So I feel like also, it's like, it sits weird on my head. I don't know. I might go back to, I don't know. I like them.
Well, you kind of have an egg-shaped head anyway.
Yeah. No,
did you buy the egg-shaped headphones?
They just make me head. They make me head look like an egg. I don't know. It's weird, but I like them.
No, they don't make your head.
I don't have an egg-shaped head.
No,
I don't. No, I do not. Anyway, let's talk to chat here. John's been watching the Mavs Wolves game. Last I checked, I think the Mavs were up. Suffin says, "What's up?" Pay says, "Hope everyone's week has been good." We've got Rick saying, "Hey fam, hope everyone had a killer week." Joe 175. Oh boy, oversized episode.
Right. Every little one we can.
Well, it's this is technically the birthday episode because Tuesday is my birthday, so I guess it is like an oversized birthday celebration episode. And also, while we're talking about comics, I have to double check, but I'm almost certain on Tuesday, I believe our merch shop will have anywhere, I think either a 15 or 20% discount.
Oh.
So let me double check that while I'm sure when Nate's reviewing a book, I will double check that, but I'm almost positive that on Tuesday, either Monday or Tuesday, might be Monday, it makes more sense for Monday. There's going to be a 20%, I believe a 20% discount on everything in our merch store. So you might want to go check that out. I'll put that in the link and make sure that that's correct before I sent that out, but I'm almost certain that's the case because I double checked that today. ASM, Amazing Spider-Man was even good this week. Interesting. When people say, "Hey, Patty," I always ask them if they called me fatty. I'm like, "Oh, well, you're a bona fide fatty here." Joe says, "My patois is Cobra Commander issue #5. This issue really boosts my excitement for the next chapter of the Energon universe. Even sold me on Destro book." All right.
I should finish that book then.
Yeah, I need to as well. Move your head, boy. So I married Axe. Wait, what? Move your head, boy. So I married an axe murderer. 10 out of 10. Oh, was that a book? And Joe says Thundercats is criminally good. I still need to read that.
Yeah, I have issue 1, but I just that was right when I was moving, and
I don't know if I have it or not. I know that I thought about it. I know that for sure. I know I looked at it and was like, I should buy that, but I don't know if I did or not. But all right, let's get to it. First up, we've got Grimm, issue number 17 from Boom Studios and Stephanie Phillips and Yowza. We're continuing this build. We're for some reason it's like we're on a pause, right? Like we're on this pause of moving the storyline. Now, granted, I'm sure like what we're doing here is going to play into the story, right? Like that that's almost guaranteed. But without any I don't want to say formal announcement, we've been doing this character study on every individual person within the group, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that individualistically each story has been great, getting to understand these characters and where they came from, but it just feels like something you do at the beginning, or I don't know when it's appropriate to do it, but it just feels out of place in my mind.
So here's what we're doing. We're Stephanie Phillips, and I don't mean this critically necessarily, but she's vamping right here. Okay. And however, I would say the first 2 issues here of these interpersonal stories of our characters and getting to see what has gotten them there, those as standalone stories, when you don't think about them in the bigger picture of the series, are really good. They've been really good so far.
Right.
But you're right. It feels like this came out of nowhere, where we had this overarching theme where we were pushing a plot with these characters, and all of a sudden we slammed on the brakes and said, absolutely, actually, now we're doing character studies.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing is, it looks like we're going to be doing character studies for this entire arc and then picking back up to our main story. Now, we've been doing this just for 2 months now. However, we had a break in between. So,
Right.
Traditionally, the break is, last time it was 5 months. So let's just go off of the normal timeline, right? So
Right.
this arc ends in August. So you would think September, October, November, December, January of next year is when this comes back. That means on the main plot, we will have gone from November 2013 to January 25. Excuse me, November 23 to January 25.
Oh my gosh.
Between those two issues, essentially, we're going to go from here to here. And that seems quite wild to me.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, like out of nowhere we're doing this, but it's been what? I think it's been at least 3, if not 4 issues of like character study. I think it's 3. I don't think it's 4. And to me, like it just seems so like a grinding halt. And on top of like you're saying that we had a freaking like break. So like it just feels like this book's momentum has completely stopped. And like, does that deter me from the book? Absolutely not. Because like I know how good this book is, and like I know like the idea that we're dealing with in this, like nobody's dying and death has disappeared, like all that jazz, like obviously is really cool, right? But I will say the character study, as cool as it is, because like I thoroughly enjoyed the issue. I thought it was good. A lot of character depth, a lot of emotion, a lot of like, oh, like without this issue, I would not be as I wouldn't feel as connected to this character as I do now, in the sense of like understanding like obviously their history and like their pain and just what drives their motivation, right? Like that's great, but like I'm ready to I'm ready for the war, you know, like I'm ready for you know what I mean, like I'm ready for Jessica to like get her shit and like, you know, either lead the army or, you know, figure out where her place is, even though we like kind of already know, like she's kind of already come to this acceptance that she is the daughter of death, but like we haven't seen her, like we just haven't seen her. So I just have to come, you know, I have to wonder like when you know what I mean.
Yeah. Joe said I've been trade reading it. It's crazy that the story is still going. Concept is great, but is it worth this long of a run without getting lost in it? And I would say maybe wait till it ends and let us tell you, because part of me, I will admit, it's this much, but part of me is still in this story for the sunk cost fallacy. I'm like, well, I've already paid for 17 straight issues, I might as well keep going. However, if the art speaks to you, I would highly suggest continuing to go, because like even with this sort of like where are we going with it story, the art, when it comes to like atmosphere and feeling like you're in a story, I genuinely think this is in the top 3 ongoings right now. Like the second I open the page, I'm like, boom, I'm like in the world of Grimm. I don't feel like anything changes. Like Flaviano is like executing perfectly. And like I think we're getting hung up a little on the overall structure of the book, but like these past 2 issues to me, story-wise, singular issue story-wise, have been very good. So I will still be trucking along with it.
I'm not jumping off by no means, but it's just kind of like I'm ready for, I guess we'd be saying the opposite if like it was just ending really quick, right? Like if we hadn't gotten these issues and we're just done, like obviously we would be like, oh shit, like this sucks, we need more, and like we're getting more now. So like I don't want to say I'm complaining. I just feel like the momentum feels like we're in mud right now. Even though like it's obviously very like you know, like what we're doing is very important to the plot point and understanding these characters and their motivations when we get closer to the end of the book or the end of the arc or whatever we're going to be doing. So that's just my 2 cents. Critical Entertainment, thank you for the follow, guys. I enjoy the channel. Thank you for just chatting with us, man. I appreciate it. Obviously, yeah, thank you. All right, let's keep moving on from Boom. We got Something is Killing the Children, issue number 37 from James Onion the Fourth.
Don't push it.
Okay.
So
that's right.
close.
Yeah, I know.
So incredibly close.
I remember
This
that.
issue's still amazing. And honestly, it was a coin flip. And, gotta change it up a little bit. Because this is just the greatest series. That's
right.
We all understand it. We all agree with that. Okay, so you know how I was just talking about how Flaviano just is one of the best that's creating the atmosphere, creating the ambiance, creating the feeling like you're in that world? Well, Don doing that just as well. And this issue we get a lot of what I think we've been missing for a while, which is like Erica just kicking ass.
Right.
So for those that don't remember, this arc that we're currently in, these are one-shot flashbacks in Erica's past, sometime between when she finishes her and gets her black mask and before the very first issue where she goes to help those main kids. And these one-shots are done so well because not only are they stories, often heartbreaking as well, but like the amount of world building that we're getting in the background is a lot of fun too. We're learning a little bit more about different obscura of the monsters, like different versions. We're seeing more of her relationship with Aaron, which we didn't get a ton of exposure to. We got a lot of growth of Aaron on how he was before he died from House of Slaughter. But now we're getting to see their specific relationship once she fully became a Black Mask. I think that's really cool. I would say that the plot of this one was maybe not like this. That was 4.5. It's like basically Erica walks into a supermarket in a podunk town with a little girl whose brother had gotten killed by the monster, and she's using her as bait to get it out. And there are like two stoner kids in the front that work there that are just like, there's nothing to do because no one's there. And Erica goes in there to prep for this monster to get there so she can kill it. And the monster walks in, but of course they're adults, so the stoners can't see it. And the monster's knocking shit over, and they're like, "Whoa, dude! What's going on?" And it was pretty humorous, which was nice. But it was essentially walk into a supermarket, lure the monster, kill the monster, walk away,
do the thing.
However, it was gorgeous, and it had a lot of world building, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, not the greatest ever, but definitely 4.5 out of 5 stars, like every issue is.
Joe says, but another hot take is Department of Truth. I feel like that title's become stagnant. Sorry. Stagnant. I mean, we haven't had it in over a year. It's coming back. Same with Nice House on the Lake or Nice House on the Beach. Right?
Is that what it's called now?
I think it's on the beach.
I don't know. I don't remember, but yeah, it's coming back. We haven't seen it in a while. Shit, it's been over a year now, right?
It's been a long time. And then John also asks, I read Something's Killing the Children issue 15 through 37 for the first time today to catch up. Love the one-shots, but dying to see what happens next.
I am too for sure.
And then what's the interior artwork look like? Joe asks.
Something's Killing the Children. I love Werther Deladere's
sea.
It
Nice
is
house
so
on
easy.
by the sea.
There it is. Let me find you a good page. He's really good with light work. So here's one of Erica protecting the girl in the supermarket. She's obviously she looks super funky because of the nose and her mask.
Nice House 2 is gonna be dope. I'm incredibly excited for it. I love that book to death.
Action scenes. Kitty's getting sliced up. Saves the stoners. It's good. It's really good.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. That's
Good
it.
deal. All right. Next we have White Boat from Scott Snyder over at Distillery.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this real quick because we can't have two amazing. For my horror fans out there, we didn't put this on. Heard those? Picked up The Butcher's Boy
mic.
Horse book? Huh?
Talking to the mic.
The Butcher's Boy.
There we go.
Dark
Ooh.
Horse, The Butcher's Boy.
Shivers down the spine.
Anyway, Dark Horse, The Butcher's Boy.
There you go.
Thought this would be really cool, and like this was not good. It was very, very, very choppy, very sloppy. The writing was just like, what are we doing here? The plot was actually kind of cool. It's like these teenagers want to go on just like a getaway to like get away from work and shit. And one of their friends is like a vlogger, TikTok kind of girl, and wanted to go to this like haunted little small town. And like when they show up, they're all fighting and arguing, and they're so oblivious to their surroundings that they don't realize that the people of the small town, they want to eat them. But the like interpersonal conflicts were like written like a 50-year-old man who's hasn't seen how teenagers act since like the 80s. So I won't be picking this up again. Yes, Jaden, but not in a good way. Sorry, Patty. I just wanted to. I don't want to be shitty like this. I'm not trying to say I'm warning you. Don't read this book.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, to be clear, we're not talking about White Boat. You're talking about a completely different book.
Sorry, that one. Anyway, White Boat. This is hit the button. This is it.
Hit the button. Oh man,
Joe, don't make me cry with that question. Okay, so this format-wise, when Distillery kind of said, "Hey, this is the thing we're doing these longer format big books, 3-4 issues where we'll be done." Like that's just kind of how it is.
Right.
This is exactly what I was expecting.
Because not all of them have hit like this, right? Some of them have been kind of
No, we've had 2 big misses. We've had some good ones. Somna has been good. Gone has been okay.
What was the other one?
Blasphemous was not great.
Sound and something graph.
Spectrograph has been good. Yeah, Spectrograph
is
good.
Okay.
It wasn't as good as I was hoping for a Tynan. The Blood Brothers was, I don't know. I'm actually thinking about going back to that one and seeing. So far, the only one that I read one issue and said no last. That was because I'm pretty sure I could have read an entire Stephen King novel before I finished that book, and like to a certain extent, like
which one was that?
It's just too much. Like there was the art was barely even noticeable because there was so much text.
Which one?
It's insane. Blasphemous.
Oh, Blasphemous.
Mirka and Dalfo, I believe.
And then you didn't like the Mother Revenge one either, right?
The
Western one, the
Blood Brothers Mother's Revenge thing.
Yeah.
That was the one I was saying I might read issue 2.
Come back to it.
Let's
gotcha.
Come back to it. Okay. It was a very fumbly set up, except the story that was set up I'm interested in. So
okay. But you enjoyed this.
White Boat is my
Boat.
pick of the week.
Yes.
And I love it. So what I was trying to say is like this is exactly what I want from these longer format things. We've got an introduction and then it's broken down into 3 parts. Like I don't know. It's the structure is just really good. So the story here is we start out by seeing a young boy and his brother. They go out with their dad deep in the sea on their like 32-foot boat. Like not a big boat, but they would always go out to where like the big yachts would park and stuff. And they'd fish and have fun, and it would just be a good boys getaway. Well, one time when they're sleeping, a like rogue 30-foot wave crashes down and flips the boat, and one of the brothers dies. And then we see 20 years later, we see the brother that survives is kind of like a freeloader, drunk, sort of typical like harbor kid. I don't know how else to say it. Like he's a writer for like a boat magazine. He's like always getting kicked out of bars and like living in hotels and all this stuff. And him and this guy that he works for, that he writes the stories for, kind of have this conversation about the White Boat. Like there's this mysterious, like it's always been known in the boating community that there's this mysterious yacht. It's like a $3 billion yacht. No one knows anything about it. No one understands it. Like no one's like, there are rumors that it's been seen, but no one's officially seen it. And then of course, one day our main character gets an invitation to get to come on the boat. And he goes on the boat and gets shown around, and he's like, yeah, like this stuff's cool, but like I've seen this shit on a yacht before. And then they'll like gray-faced butler guy's like, okay, well, are you ready for the real stuff? He's like, yeah, I guess so. Like, what does that mean? And then he like opens this random hatch and he's down the stairs. He's like, all right, let's go. And the butler's like, no, you got to go by yourself. And he's like, yeah, okay. And so he goes down the stairs, and then it just like opens up to this labyrinth. He's like, it's way bigger than this boat is. Like, how is this much stuff down there? And there's like all these like ancient artifacts and like one of a kind paintings from like Picasso and stuff. It's like just the abundance is ridiculous. And they're like there's like an one of a kind Orson Welles movie that's fully dedicated to this boat. And he walks around for a long time, sees everything, and then realizes, I can't get out of here. And he gets knocked down at one point and wakes up, and he's like, oh, I'm back in my room. Turns out they made an exact replica of his bedroom in this boat so that he would feel more comfortable or safe.
Nope.
For like a week, he's like wandering around this boat, and like food just appears and stuff like that, but he has no idea where he is. He can't get out.
Hey.
And then he's like, all right, I'm going to find a way to sneak out of here. And he finds a hidden vent, and like, as he's doing this, he keeps seeing this like kraken like tentacle thing on the outside of the boat, but he's like barely catching glimpses of it. He's like, I don't know if I'm really seeing that. And then of course he gets to the end of this tunnel and sees it's just basically like a huge glass wall outside, and it's this massive, huge kraken just staring right at him. And you see people attached to the tentacles of this kraken with some kind of muscle glob noodle going into their mouth, and they're just like, whoa, on this tentacle. And one of the guys looks like he's totally into it. And then it shows this other woman, and she's like looking like, get me the fuck out of here. What is happening to me? Why am I not drowning? I'm in the middle of the ocean. And then he gets knocked out again, and then he wakes up and he's back on the deck of the boat, and they're like, welcome, young man. We're sorry you saw the things you saw, but we wanted to make sure you were ready for the island. And anytime you end a story with mystical, godlike sea creatures, rich people with secrets, and a mysterious island, I'm in. I'm like so wholeheartedly. Like, it's just creepy enough to fall into a little bit of horror, but like at one point he says like, this is where the cosmic gods and humanity's perception of reality. It's just like, that's
and it also
corny
like
as fuck, and I love it.
It fulfills your octopus tentacle fetish, right? Because of the
Well, yes, the tentacle fetish does also. I have to admit. Oh, I forgot the most important part. He gets to they get to the island, like they're about to go on the island. They're like, the master is here. They keep referring to the guy on the island that summoned him as the master. And he's like, who is this guy? He's like, don't worry. He asked only for you. He's been here all this time, but he's ready to see you again. Who do you think it is? The brother that died.
Oh God.
So it's his brother.
All right.
Yeah. So it is the type of wacky, far-fetched kind of thing you would expect from Scott. Think of the kind of stuff he came up with, witches and Noctera and stuff like that. But
right.
I don't. The pacing. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you know, my dad now, since he's been retired, he's been coming to the shop with me and Liam, and now Dan will go since school's over, and he was talking about like getting a new book, and I was like, oh, you should check out. No, I didn't know anything about it at this point. I just knew that you were picking it up, and he's been checking out distillery books, and I was like, you should check out White Boat. And he's like, oh yeah, and I was like, yeah, it's by Scott Snyder. And then I started telling him about Noctera, and he was like, what? And like when I got to was it Wild Bill, right? Or Blackout Bill? What was the name of that character? The guy with the mercenary.
I don't remember.
When I talked about him, he was like, okay, like I'm in. Like I was like, yeah, like he's creepy as fuck, you know. So I know that he enjoyed it. When I asked him about it, he said he really liked it. He's gonna be picking up issue 2. So I was like, yeah, if Nate likes it, or I basically, because he's into that, like he's into the horror stuff too. So like when he saw it, I was like, you need to pick it up, because I think Nate's like goo goo gaga over it. So
yeah. Okay, so a couple of things. One, or I guess the main thing is, John said the giant green monkey splashing. Okay, so like at first I was like, that's like a statue or something, and then just a monkey gets squished on screen on panel
Blacktop Bill here, right,
for
James?
something else. But yeah, is that his brother? Blacktop Bill, yeah. I wonder if this is his brother, that we get this like little glimpse of a like giant pastel green monkey thing. And it's like, if that's his brother, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird. We just see the backside of him, you know, like. But then there's like squish. That monkey gets splattered.
Joe says at my comic shop there are two big factions of shoppers: the manga anime fans and then the horror fans. This show is a great example of that. There you go. Yeah.
Anyway, my pick of the week. This is the most excited about a distillery book I've had since Summer. So
there you go. That's pick of the week. Hell yeah. Sorry, I'm so yawny. I don't know why I'm so like. It's been a long day. We had swimming lessons this morning and then play and like all kinds of stuff. But all right, next up we have Void. What?
This November 22 was the last department. Long time. We get it back June 26th.
Oh my gosh.
Next month.
It's right around the corner.
Department 2 next month.
All right, next we have Void Rivals from Robert Kirkman over at Image, and you know we're moving along. We're moving the plot along. We've got, you know, I'm pretty convinced now, even though I've seen the covers, that the female protagonist is going to be the new computer AI program within the guy's hand glove. She's gonna die. Like she's dying. She's clearly dying. And if you look at the covers of I think next week, you see her as like a pink, like digitized ghost. So I think I think her consciousness is going to be moved over into either like some kind of AI thing with the pilot, or this is just a hunch, she ends up becoming a transformer. There's nothing that really supports that. I'm just saying, like, I just feel like that's gonna happen. Anyway.
Okay.
We've got this group still running from the mercenary or the bounty hunter guy. We run into another transformer who ends up kind of helping them, kind of like they look for medical help, and he's like, I don't got shit for you unless you're a robot, and you ain't robots.
Wait, do we know who that transformer is?
Yes, that is I don't remember his name, but he is a transformer from like
Springer.
The cartoon. Yeah, he's from the cartoons. He turns into a helicopter, I believe.
That's what League says. His name's Spring.
There you go. And he, you know, he helps as much as he can when the bounty hunter ends up showing up. And then, you know, we've got the female protagonist basically passing. She's dying. And I just think, you know, the thing that he finds on her, I believe, is going to be something that's going to end up like transferring her soul or whatever to some kind of AI consciousness. That's what I believe. I could be wrong, but it's just not looking good for her. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of sad about it. Like I like their dynamic between the two characters. You know, I like the rivalry, and I believe there is a will they won't they unspoken will they won't they between
because
them.
That's your favorite subplot.
Yeah, and look, you've got your tentacles and horror, okay, over here, and I've got slice of life and will they won't they, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I love the jokes and all, but like I do need to make sure it's on. I actually don't have a tentacle finish. There's someone in this room that does, but it's not me. Okay?
Oh, that's so good. Anyway.
I got a very bad look for that one.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble. Anyway, anyway, we're definitely, it's just a joke. I'm kidding. I'll stop talking about it. Anyway,
No.
I liked it. I'm having fun with this.
I think it's a great joke.
I think this has been fun. I'm all in on it, especially with what we know is, you know, with what we're trying to build here with the Energon universe. And now that our chat's going like, yo, Cobra Commander was badass, even though I haven't finished it. And now they want to do Destro and Scarlet. Like, I'm like, God damn it. I guess I'm going to have to do it. But my question is, okay, we're getting all these G.I. Joe little onesies, you know, like these little minis, right? Can we get some Transformer minis? Like, I know we got the main Transformers book.
You're being greedy, okay?
No, I'm not. No, if I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna, like, okay, if we're gonna get Destro and Scarlet, where's Snake Eyes? Okay, like, he to me is the one GI Joe that matters. I'm sorry. I know I'm going on a rant here, but I think we need some Transformer, like, the obvious. Where's, I know Bumblebee's dead, but like, when he comes back, are we gonna get a Bumblebee mini? Are we gonna get
Is he coming back though?
I would assume he is. You can't not have Transformers.
I think you just hope he's coming back.
Like, okay, where's Hot Rod? I know we just got him in the free comic book day, so can we get a Hot Rod? Can we get a Hot Rod mini? You know what I'm saying? Or an Ultra Magnus? Like, let's get some Transformers minis here, because like I'm liking what we're doing, but we could be doing more. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, Void Rivals 9, loved it, had a lot of fun. It's moving the story. Is it inching the story? Yes, it's not moving incredibly fast, but I'm still engaged. I'm still engaged with it because we're still doing something new. There were 2 plot points that were in this book that were briefly mentioned, and I'm like, okay, so when are we going back to that? And that to me was when the scrap bounty hunter guy like goes home.
He's like, "Welcome home, kids."
And there's nobody there, and I'm like, and then we just end it. I'm like, well, what's going on there? Like, I don't really give a shit about this character, but now I do, because like, what's going on there? And then obviously we've got the Transformers, or I don't know what they're called, the floating head that's got the Judgment.
People.
Yeah, and they're mentioning basically, and I had to look it up because like I was like, I think I know what that is. Essentially, they're mentioning like the first edition primes, essentially.
Yeah, that guy says Zerta Trion and he gets fried to death.
Yeah, so like I know that there are primes, or like I don't want to call them celestial Cybertronians, but like you've got this like hierarchy of Cybertronians that are above like what we currently know. And so like I know one of them was actually in one of Michael Bay's Transformer movies. I don't know if it was the second or third, where like essentially Optimus is like teacher who ends up betraying them. I think the person that voiced it was Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, interesting.
Which was really cool. But anyway, I we're clearly, Void Rivals is obviously moving. I feel like they're moving, again, I haven't read Cobra Commander, so I could be just like putting my foot in my mouth, but I feel like Void Rivals is moving the Transformer storyline much deeper and further than G.I. Joe is. Like, obviously G.I. Joe is doing their thing, and then they're incorporating Transformers, and they're kind of going like, well, now we gotta go hunt these giant robots, rather than like, because that's what Duke's going to do. He has no idea if there's a good side or a bad side. It's just giant robots that are killing people, and I gotta go get them, right? Whereas like Cobras are basically going after Energon. They know about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like Void Rivals is really pushing the Transformer narrative more. Like, we haven't seen any reference to G.I. Joe in Void Rivals. I mean, it's space. Like, we haven't seen it yet. Now, will we? Who knows? But yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Joe says, with all the big IP that Kirkman was able to get deals done with, and for him to do his own thing, and being as good and amazing show, he doesn't need IP characters to boost excitement. 100%.
I think that's what emboldened him to do. Obviously Walking Dead and Oblivion Song and so many of these other books that were like, holy shit, like great. He's like, all right, now I'll take something that was already great and just show you that much better than its original version.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but yeah, he obviously doesn't.
Then just his first chapter of Energon books in order I like: Void Rivals, Cobra Commander, Transformers. And then someone says, do you think they will do another round of Joe minis after Scarlet and Destro before they launch the G.I. Joe proper? So
I hope not.
I noticed that there's an actual G.I. Joe not in the Energon universe print at Image right now. I noticed that I was looking at new FOC. The only next mini that I could see them doing would be Snake Eyes. like Snake Eyes and I think it's Storm Shadow. I think his name is. It's the rival to Snake Eyes. That would be to me the only like minis you could do next before properly launching GI Joe. Who knows? But that's to me. That's what I would do if there was going to be another set of minis. Joe, Transformers should be the higher because the story is great, but the artwork doesn't make it easy for me to tell who's who. At this point, I'm looking for darker shades of blue compared to lighter. And then John says Cobra Law's mutant spaceship will probably infect with the space. Oh, interact with the space stuff. All right, okay, all right. Well, we'll see what happens. That kind of makes sense. But either way, liked Void Rivals. Keep it going. I'm invested, ready to see where we go. So Zatan can be really interesting. All right, next up we have we're jumping over to Marvel. We got Blood Hunt issue number 2. Yeah. This was fun. Again, we're not as I'll say this. There is no issue 2 slump whatsoever. Was it as in depth as issue 1? No, because issue 1 was establishing what we're doing, right? We had to establish blacking out the sun with all the dark energy users. We had to establish the team getting their ass kicked and certain members getting either killed or captured. And then the big reveal, shocker, if you haven't read it yet, 1321, Blade is, either has turned bad or is possessed by something that is making him go bad, and is wielding a legion of very incredibly powerful vampires. And so this issue, we're just kind of working off what we established in issue 1 and moving on to issue 2. I had my first instance of, damn it, should I go pick up that book to read? But I'm like, no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
I've got words for you then.
I know, and I'm sure I'm missing out, but I'm not. I'm gonna stay true to my word and not do it. I can't. I can't. Like, my wallet can't. But I had my first instance of like, damn it, should I have gone and got the Dracula Blood Hunt tie-in? Like, am I fucking up by not picking up the tie-ins for Blood Hunt? And I think what that tells me is what an amazing job Jed MacKay and Pepe Larraz are doing in this book. Like, that to me tells me that they are just kicking their ass. They're just kicking ass. And specifically, I think, Pepe Larraz is Pepe Larraz, right? Like, he is going to do an amazing, like, the writing could be shit, but if you have Pepe Larraz on the book, like, just like over at DC, if you have Jorge Jimenez on your book, it's going to make it feel great. But Jed MacKay, I believe, is just on another level when it comes to storytelling. Whether it's moving a storyline, whether it's getting you engaged with characters that you knew nothing about and now are incredibly interested in, or if it's just telling a great story, I think it's speaking volumes in this event. Because, again, I will emphasize it every week it's up. I do not like vampires in my comics, and I am 100% sold on Blood Hunt. Yeah. And Nate, like, I was very worried when this got announced. It's like, really? Vampires? And now I'm just like, give me more. And yes, John says red band version all day long. Yeah, god dang. Like, when you see Strange floating in the air being held together by Strange's wife, and like, I was like, well, I need to go see the difference. So I looked at the main issue. I was like, oh, that sucks. This is way better. Like, the red band is amazing. Now, I'm still picking up both versions. I'm still going to do that. I don't care. Geez. But yeah, the red band version is amazing. I love getting it out of the bag and like you feel like you're doing something naughty when you open it. You're like, oh, I hope no one sees me do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I liked the issue. I loved the hook at the end because you're kind of like, wait, when did that happen?
Hated it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hated it.
And that's another reason why I'm starting to go like, do I need to get the tie-ins? Because I don't know which tie-in it is, but it's clear that Miles either gets like some kind of spell put on him and he's still working for the good guys, or he's like his, because he's a Spider-Man, he's able to, kind of do a Wolverine and be, a vampire and still be Spider-Man at the same time. Like something's going to happen there. And so again, we're getting this very effective marketing, which I feel like Marvel has been kind of lacking lately, especially with a lot of their other, events. I'd say the last time they were cooking on all cylinders for an event where I was like, yeah, I'm buying all the tie-ins. And then when you bought them, you felt like you were duped, but the marketing was so hot, was the King in Black tie-in, the King in Black Venom War thing. Like that to me was the last time I was like, yeah, I'm buying all the tie-ins, and then I learned my lesson. Then I never did it again, and now I'm feeling pulled back into you by Blood Hunt, and so now I'm like, shit, what do I do?
Yeah. So to that, I read a few tie-ins this week, just because I felt like I needed to know. I feel like I needed to know.
Okay.
And one will not surprise you at how so completely and utterly useless was, and this was last week's Spider-Man.
Okay.
Very useless.
No,
also
not
had
needed.
junior artwork, so I didn't give it much of a chance, if I'm honest. However, there was the Dracula book, which, while I don't think necessary, I found enjoyable because not only was the art really good, like this person obviously didn't get there, but was doing their best at a Pepe Larraz interpretation, and doing it pretty well.
Okay.
And it was cool to see Dracula's like reaction to what's going on here, and like how upset he is that he's like, no, like I was trying to do the whole Vampire Nation, we do things right, like we don't attack random people, like all this stuff.
Right.
And for some reason he is like, I gotta Blade's daughter. And it kind of shows like him figuring that out and getting them where we're at in issue 2 of Blood Hunt. Was it needed? No. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, I thought it was nice. The other one is, I think John brought it up. John said is the only tie-ins that he's liked so far, the McKay written ones, Moon Knight and Doctor Strange. I did read Doctor Strange 15, and it shows you how we get from issue 1 to issue 2, how we get from a blade or a knife in his back to his corporal form, his astral plane form. And that was fun. Like it was fun that we get to see freaking the fuck out, and like we get to see this really interesting exchange between Blade about his motivations. I actually think that keyed as a key issue, not as a tie-in issue.
And I read that one.
Did you?
Yeah, I read the Doctor Strange one.
Yeah, we get a lot of information from Blade about like I think the only thing I would add is I really liked, I don't know if you mentioned this, but like sometimes I feel like in these events we get so downtrodden bad our heroes get their asses kicked just for like 5 or 6 issues, 7-issue run, and then on the 7th issue they just somehow magically find the right button to push it. And like, I don't know, the back and forth, the Avengers actually getting felt better to me. Felt necessary. I know, I don't remember. Maybe Joe was saying that he didn't like that it seemed like they were getting their asses kicked. And I didn't catch this, so I don't know if you caught this or not. But when T'Challa transports out Captain America, it's not just Captain America he transports out. I thought it was just him. But he fully transports out Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and Vision. And that's why they're in so much better shape than everyone. One, they're not Thor with a fucking stake through the head.
Right. Jesus.
But I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was good.
No, I thought it was good.
I really didn't like the ending. I felt like that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Made no sense. Didn't like the whole point was that we've got Doctor Strange under, and then what? He accidentally bites Miles, or you're gonna say there's another?
Did we see?
In a way that he gets bit.
Well, yeah. So we didn't see him officially get bit. Like you don't see it. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. My thinking is he's under control somehow. Like he's been bit the whole time, and like he's either like one of the vampires or Blade is controlling him. That's my thought. It wasn't that he got bit somewhere along the way. Like, he's been bit the entire time, and there's some kind of woohoo magic going on. Can we just say how awesome? Okay, so we're talking Red Band and the continuity of it all, but can we just talk about how both versions of how they dealt with that one vampire and Vision teleported him up past the atmosphere to make him explode? Like, in both versions, because in the regular version it looked badass because it was like this really cool, like, well, no, I like that it was, because reading the Red Band and knowing what he looks like when it happens to him, yeah, like, that looks badass, right? But then if you look at
his skin melts off his face because he's going.
Yeah. But then if you go to the regular version, it's this big, cool, like, picturesque, like, I mean, it's only a panel, but like they're above the clouds, and it's a rule of thirds, you know, it's in the corner up high. Yeah. Like, it looks cool. And I think it's really badass for anyone that's, you know, buying both and just doing the comparison. But like, the Red Band version was just so badass. I thought it was really cool. So Pepe Larraz is cooking right now on Blood Hunt at the moment.
Big time. What he's not doing is cooking on
what?
Twitter.
Oh, what did he do?
Someone asked him about why he decided to include which characters.
Sorry, you're breaking up.
He asked if he was a cover that he did, if he was mandated to include which characters on the cover, or if he got to choose. He said that he got to choose, and someone said, "Hey, we've noticed a few times you've said you get to choose, and we see a lack of people of color in your books." And he basically was just like, "Yeah, I do what I want. I don't have to answer to you." I was like, well, I mean, that's technically right, but like, and like, they didn't come at him. They were just like, "Hey, like,
yeah, why not include more?"
And in this same day, someone also said something to Mark Brooks, and they were like, "Hey, we'd love to see these characters of color, and like, we've noticed that a lot haven't showed up." And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna include those guys. You're right. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's Twitter shit, but
Twitter. Yeah. And the other, we're not gonna get into the discussion. Let's just not. Let's just not do it. Well, let's get into chat. Haven't read Union Jack Ripper because I pre-ordered it. I'm getting it late. Didn't read Strange tie-in, but what happened when Sia saw, or Sia? Is it how you name? Clea saw Strange get fucked up. Oh, she's like, "Fuck!" and then she saves his ass. Well, she wasn't happy Blade turned Strange so that he can't cast spells to kill all vampires.
Yeah, that's the really important part is that Cleo's like, no, I got this Darkhold spell that'll kill all vampires, and Blade's like, now your husband's a vampire, you ain't gonna do that anymore.
You ain't do shit.
She's like,
yeah,
fuck, you're right.
McKay's definitely thought it through. Shop didn't have Strange tie-in, but I was surprised Blade left Sia alive because she's more dangerous than Strange, and she proves that in that issue. She's like, this is what he's expecting us to do, so we're going to do X. Yep. So it's clear that they're playing 4D chess at the moment. So anyway, this is a great book. Had a lot of fun with it.
I love it that you're on these experts.
Listen. Just listen. It wasn't bad, but every issue of this one that Gary Jerry's doing, I always say, like, it's very evident that Marvel's just like, end it, just end it. And that's what we get here. If you were not reading the Karen Gillan Rise of the House of X, then this is the end, right? This is, Orcus is put in its place so easily to the point where you kind of go like, well, why didn't you do that in the first place? Like, that's what this issue feels like. Were the things that happened in it cool? 100%. Like, really cool shit. Psylocke finds the Omega Sentinel. Remember the Sentinel that's like got red skin, and she's from the future. Like, we ended up finding out that she was okay. Yes. At one point, they teleport to one of the headquarters, and she basically like performs a psychic lobotomy on her and deactivates deactivates basically all of her like computer components inside of her brain, so she becomes human again. And I'm almost positive that there's some significance to this move, because like she reveals her name, and again, I'm sure if I went and watched Comic Book Herald's video, which I don't know if he's done one yet, he'll go, "Oh, this person's incredibly important. That it's this character." I don't know, but she reveals her name, and I have to think that when it was revealed, you're supposed to go, "Oh my god," But like again, I am so incredibly disinterested with this line of storytelling within Krakoa that I was like, okay, now you'll love this part. So Nimrod, obviously he's AI, he runs through simulations, he's been running through simulations in order for them to defeat the mutants, right? And he in this book it's revealed that every time Nimrod has run a simulation, the last mutant that he always fights at the end is Cyclops. And I like when I read it, I was like, oh my god, like I can feel Nate's eyes rolling as I read this. And to an extent, I'm right there with him, because the Omega's Nimrod basically says something that I was like, okay, that's fucking stupid. He goes, "You're always the last mutant in my simulations because you are an Omega level mutant." And I was like, nope, wrong. I'm sorry. Cyclops is not an Omega level mutant. I don't like, unless he's got the fucking Phoenix Force, he is not an Omega level mutant. And so like when that happened, I was like, yep, eye roll. And then Cyclops goes, he basically says, "No, you're wrong. And I shouldn't be the last mutant you ever fight. It should be," and then bum, who shows up? Our queen, Storm. And she wrecks fucking shit in this book. So if there's one thing in this book that just, it just goes off, it's that Storm shows up and puts Nimrod and the rest of Orcus in their place.
Okay.
And so she kicks ass. And Cyclops goes, "Yo, it ain't me, son." And literally takes a step back to let Storm do her thing. So there was that. That was cool. But overall, it's just, this to me, it's almost like it was the scraps. It was like, hey, Karen, I know you're doing all this really cool shit, and you're going to end the Krakoan era in a really great way, but there are going to be people that are like, well, where's the battles? Where's just the fighting? And that's this, where the storytelling isn't necessarily at the forefront, and it's more of, let's just have really big battles. And that's what this is. And it sounds stupid of me to say that, but that's just how this book feels. So again, looking forward to how Karen's going to end it, because Gary Jerry it's clear that it was just like, yo, just tie up loose ends, and the covers are going to be kick-ass, but the interiors were just really, it's just like, because the Orcus falls so easily. And like, when it was established that they were taking out the mutants, you were like, how can they win? How can the mutants win? There's no way they can win. And then you get this book and it's like, well, why didn't they do that in the first place? So that's the criticism of the book. So I am looking forward to Karen Gillan's conclusion, because I think it'll be the masterful ending that we're looking for so that when we get into the summer, like, it establishes what we're going to do. And so we'll see. But I just, once I got past my expectations of what I thought this book was going to be, I had a good time with it. But it just felt like, Orcus felt like a pushover. And when Gary Jerry started his storytelling on this, they weren't. Like, they came into the Hellfire Gala just like guns blazing. You know what I mean? And then here it just doesn't feel like it. So anyway. John says, "I dropped all things X until the reboot. Once again, thanks for taking the bullet." No problem, John. Joe, let me Let me just get to this last thing. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, let's go back to it. Buttons. Pushing things. Okay, there we go.
Stop pushing things.
Go back to it. Halftime questions. When the fall is over and when we look back at the Krakoa era and we explain it to the next generation of comic book readers, what would y'all say?
I will say this is a classic example of how ego can
what?
ruin a good thing.
Good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And is that on Hickman?
It is.
Okay. I would agree with that assessment. I think, you know, if someone asked me, like, should I read the Krakoan era books, I would probably say read House and Powers. Like, read that. Because if you've read X-Men books or if you watched the shows and like you have a basic understanding and love for the X-Men, then I would encourage someone to go read House and Powers, because that, to me, the beginning of that is just like, whoa, like it's just such a divergence to what the X-Men normally are, and it was fresh and awesome. Mm-hmm. And so I guess you can't really say standalone, but I'd say just read that. And then at that point, you know, yeah, check out the first 10 issues of X-Force. Go check out Hickman's New Mutants run, because that was fun. I mean, really go check out all the first 5 to 10 books of X-Men books that were coming out of House and Powers and enjoy them. And then probably after the first Hellfire Gala, that's when you can be like, you know what? I'm just going to skip to the end and see how it ends. Like, even though you'd be you would miss a lot of shit, it just spirals out of control. You know what I mean? Like, probably even check out Inferno, because Inferno, like, was cool, but like that's where it spirals. That's where it spirals. Yeah.
You're already spiraling.
Okay. Whatever. You know?
Please, let's move on. I don't want to hear about X.
All right. Well, I mean, that's what they're talking about. It's here's the two biggest complaints about Marvel's books is also the highest selling book ever, month between Amazing Spider-Man and X books of the most. Joe, it's typical that Hickman's strong start. Is it typical that he has a strong start? There are a lot of fantastic moments. I'm still waiting for Hickman to finish Black Monday Murderers and The Dying and the Dead. Hickman's Wolverine book looks like it's going to be wild. Don't even get me started. You sent that to me and I was so frustrated. What's the biggest flop between the Krakoa era and the new All Different Mutants new era when the main characters were replaced?
Wasn't around during that, so I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't either. Sorry, can't answer it. All right, let's fulfill Nate's wish and move on to Immortal Thor issue number 11. I'm very interested to think what you thought of this, because I know you have been so high on Thor.
Mm-hmm. This one, well, first of all, I'm just the art quality of this book plummeting so far has been quite a frustration.
It's interesting.
Huh?
It made me like not want to read it at all.
This artwork did not provide the chutzpah that was needed for this story. This story had balls. This story was deep. This story was like supposed to be like hardcore, and like this art was like playful and fun and kind of goofy. And I'm not saying it's bad art. I'm just saying it was the wrong art for this story.
Well, just to kind of jump in, okay, you're at the comic book store. You've never read a Thor. You haven't read Thor. You're not read Thor. And you see this.
Oh.
You see this cover, right? And you're like, whoa. No. And then you open it. And you've got a Thor brother who's like, yo, dude, I'm into haikus and surfing, bro. And you're like, am I reading the same like, did they get the wrong cover?
And surfing? What are you talking?
There was one of the brothers is about poetry and shit, and he's wearing flip-flops and jeans.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's not the vibe I got from it.
I'm just saying, like, the interiors don't match the cover. And then
See, look, I don't want to go on rants. It's already.
okay, that's fine. Don't go on the rant. Don't go on the rant.
No, I'm going to absolutely
do it.
say something.
Don't do it.
Like the worst argument in comics is ever is if you go, oh, the interior didn't match the cover. Then you don't know comics, and you need to be quiet.
Yeah,
like,
no, but I'm just
how
saying,
good
like,
that?
I think this is probably a prime example of where that does apply, because like I would be incredibly frustrated if I saw the cover of this book, and then like open, like you're saying, like the interior art was playful. It felt like like when we were reading Strange Academy, right? And the main artist would jump off, and we'd get a secondary artist, and it just like completely killed the vibe of the book, and it almost felt like God damn it, you're right. I don't want to say this because I'm gonna get I'm not that I'm gonna get in trouble. It's just gonna sound like shit. So let's just move on. Let's just move on, because what I want to say is incredibly hurtful, and that's not right. So
Okay. I will say though, as far as the story, this was the first that I was like, huh?
yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. Usually with this book, I'm like, that's you. Didn't understand. And I did on a lot of the things, and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And that with the art and the like, you know, this book. It's not the story we want.
Well, let me
I
ask
don't
you
know.
this: like, if the artwork had been our main artist, do you think
I still
you
would have.
Well, do you think there'd be a little bit less of a? There'd be less of a, huh? Like there'd still be a, huh? But there'd, like, I
Yes.
feel like there'd be a little bit more
1,000%.
connectivity.
Yeah, 1,000%. You know, but like, yeah, like this issue, like, trying to keep, like, we're gonna you know, I'm not the
John,
most
you're right.
deep into understanding, like, there's a lot of these siblings that I didn't know, and so learning about these new siblings, figure out who they are, can't remember who Tyr is anyway, trying to figure out why it matters that he's missing, telling me this is a God's tie-in when it really turns out that it's not at all. It just felt choppy.
Well, yeah, there's an element of gods in the sense that a mechanic that is used in the gods book is here. Tyr gets stuck in one of these boxes. Ta-da! Like that's it. Like there's nothing past that outside of that the in-betweener has him locked in one of his boxes. Okay.
Yeah.
Like whatever, you know. I'm not saying I'm jumping off the book, but it definitely did not make me feel good. Didn't make me feel good about the book for sure.
I would have to have an issue like this for another 10 issues for me to jump off this book. Just one little bloop's not going to change. But John is right. Focus on Angela for fuck's sake, not these other jackasses.
No shit, I totally agree. Like I'm so ready for I want an Angela-centric book. Like let's go. Let's just talk about a writer who is just fucking killing it when it comes to making you care about characters that you didn't know anything about and or didn't care about. Okay? Let's just get that off there right now. And I'm going to start backwards. At the end of the book, when Hellcat goes to Jen's apartment and is like, hey, let's go have a good time with these Inhumans, I'm like, I want to read that book. Like, you know what I mean? And again, it's a compliment to what Raul is doing. And I think McKay is in the same fucking boat where they are so honed in on their storytelling and their craft that Shield got canceled. So it's officially canceled.
I haven't seen it, but I don't know.
I know it's not in the solicitations. Did she say it's officially canceled? Anyway, this is my goddamn pick of the week.
That's Jim's pick
of
the week.
I loved
so
it.
surprised. Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god, oh jeez. No, I loved this book. I can't believe I doubted my dude Jack of Hearts. Stefan, we'll get to that because I have a theory. So, you know, Ganymede and She-Hulk fight. Jack gets in there and says, hey, you're fighting the wrong person. Then they fight the alien. Then they have their whole heart-to-heart in their room, and I fucking loved it. Like, it was great. But here's my thing. I'm wondering if Rainbow is bait and switching us here. We never see Jack on, it's never on the screen, right? Like kind of like you don't know if if they're not dead if you don't see a body, right? We never see Jack technically tell Ganymede like, "Look, I'm with She-Hulk now." We never see that scene, nor do we ever see him say, I told her it's over. Like, I'm with you now. He never says that indefinitely. All he says is, I'm in love with you. Like, you scared the shit out of me, but I'm in love with you. And then Jen basically says the same thing back to him, happily ever after, right? The reason why I'm saying that is this last book, so issue 10, I believe, or 11, I don't know, maybe it's 11. The solicitation is this issue is going to make or break Jack and Jen's relationship. And I had this thought when I was walking up to the office today to get ready for the show. And I was like, holy shit. What if he didn't have the guts, or what if he didn't have the heart to tell her that it was over? And Jack, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But what if Jack's two-timing? Like, what if he's playing games? I don't get that impression. But when you read the solicitations and it's like, this will define She-Hulk and Jack for the next, like, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
Like, did he just tell Ganymede, like, I'll be back, like, don't worry, you go on without me? And then he went back into the room and told Jen, like, hey, yo, like, I'm with you now. When in reality, he hasn't fixed anything. I had that thought this morning or this afternoon, and I'm like, could we be in trouble here? But other than that, I thought this book was great. I loved the commentary. I loved the dialogue. I thought the artwork was absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to be really sad if this book is canceled. I have to hope and I have to think that
I see no evidence besides that it's not in
August solicitations.
But she has not said, I am scouring her Twitter. She has not said one word. And any search that I can do, I can't. Official Marvel statement that it's canceled.
Right. She's only, and I did that at the beginning of the show. I checked again, and she's like retweeted people saying like, can't get enough of this, all that jazz. But there's been no mention either way that the book has been canceled. So I have to assume that the last issue in July will be
another reboot, and then that's why we're getting,
or like months. She-Hulk will be back, like we're just taking a break, and I gotta wonder if it's because she's got like 2 books coming out. Like she's getting ready to promote, she's promoting a book currently, and then she's
got a lot of her, and that's the thing, her bread and butter, her main energy is not comics, so that's always going to be her big focus.
Yeah, and then I also know apparently she's writing some Lois Lane stories in Action Comics right now, so like she's got other shit going on. So gotta hope and pray that this book isn't over. But I absolutely love this issue. I thought it was great, had a lot of fun with it, and like I have to agree with everyone that's reviewing it and tweeting at Rainbow, like, give me more. Like, She-Hulk, I'll say it every time, is the complete superhero comic right now. Like it does everything, and it does everything well. It's great. I love it.
I agree.
I don't believe I can't believe I doubted Jack of Hearts. 7 says silently August solicitations. Remember going to make us care about Caracas and Rancic? Now, yeah, like that's what I'm saying. I had a freaking tears during this book. This rivals Jed McKay's Moon Knight issue with Mark and Tigra. Yeah, I agree. What is Rainbow doing other than this book? And someone told me that this book isn't in continuity, and it's a sequel of Dan Slott's run. Interesting.
I've never read Dan Slott's run, so I don't really know what that means, but there's no.
Well, the only reason why I say there's no way it's not in continuity is like we've got the Captain Marvel of Avengers jumping in saying you can be an Avenger. Like
exactly, she's wearing her new suit as well. And yeah, no, there's this for sure isn't.
And then Joe, yes, I did see that She-Hulk will be in one of the Ultimate books. Apparently, she is on a planet, which it appears she's in charge of a bunch of Hulk clones.
She's also gray.
Gray. That just sounds dope. I'm excited. I am. Oddly enough, was not excited when it first got launched, but I am incredibly excited for that Ultimates book that's about to come out. Like, super stoked for it. This book has more melodrama than daytime Telemundo, and I love it. You're right, Stefan. Did you guys get the new Marvel Legends She-Hulk? It's the best She-Hulk figure of all. I have seen it, and I have put it on my birthday list.
I like her and all, but I don't like her like that.
Whatever. It's cool because she's basically in this version of the costume, and her accessories are a M16 bent in half, so you can have her like breaking it. The funny thing about she's the figure that he's talking about is coming in the animated Iron Man run, right? So all like the cardboard backing is Iron Man, the animated show. All the figures accompanying it are from Iron Man. And in her box, like her version of the box, so everyone is standing straight, right? Like they're like in the toy, they're standing straight up. In hers, they had to build a pocket in the bottom of the plastic container, and her knees are like her legs are bent because she's too big for the box. She's too tall for the box. So they're making a commentary on that she's taller than like Iron Man. It's fucking hilarious. I thought it was great when I saw that. But at the same time, if you look at it, she's like standing incredibly awkward, and I'm like, why couldn't you have just not like made the box taller? Because now she just looks weird in the thing. Yeah. But it's cool though. It's a cool, like, she's got like the 80s hair. It's really badass. So all right, let's keep moving.
Also, Holden said something real quick about something's killing the children. Yes, I did miss that. Go back and watch it, because I literally that this, these one shots are perfect, because not only but they continue to add something about the mythos, and we need to tell them the exact title there. Something is killing the children. Roads. Make this its own separate book. Keep it on, because John's ready to see what happens next, but I also still want these stories. Holden's got it all figured out. Let's do that.
Nice. All right. Next up, we have Ultimate Black Panther issue number 4. We've got conflict, internal conflict. We've got Ra and Moon Knight, almost feel like they're kind of button heads too, but they're still kind of moving towards their goal of like cracking Wakanda. What I like is we're just establishing characters that we're getting to know again, and they're creating their own, they're doing their own thing. And that's what I liked about this book. And knowing that what T'Challa is doing may potentially fracture the nation of Wakanda even more. Like, you kind of get that sense when this book ends. Like, when he shows Okoye the new, like, council, essentially, like the circle of trust. What I took away from the book was, she's not going to agree. She's going to go, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you putting faith in the nation of Wakanda rather than these strangers? Like, that's what I took away from the book. Which we kind of like, we were establishing that when he was having the dreams about Storm, right? Like,
yeah,
it's very apparent that a divide is coming with the current group of heroes that we have in front of us in this book. I like it. I'm still on board, and surprisingly, I'm surprised that I am. I just did not have the confidence in the Ultimate books until Hickman's Spider-Man. Like when he did his Ultimate Invasion, I was like, 2 books in, I was like, I'm out. So incredibly excited and encouraged, especially with this book.
Yep. And Stefano Casilli on art. A good help.
But is this the last of him on this, right?
I don't remember. I'm
sure
I figured that out.
There was one of these books that you said where like he's gone, like we're losing an artist.
Yeah, look. Oh no, he's back on issue 7.
Okay.
Looks like he's just taking a small break.
Yay. Joe, Ultimate Black Panther is near perfect in my opinion. The only thing I can say is that the negative is the read is way fast for $5 price tag. If you're going to price bump, give me more pages or something. I could agree with that. I could definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, jumping over to DC, winding down. We've got World's Finest, issue number 27, Batman Superman. This whole little fourth dimension supervillain buff, I think it's cool. This is a prime example of like not having to deal with what's the name of the event?
Absolute power.
Absolute power. And like I had fun with this book. Like that's the whole reason why we liked this book is like it feels like a Donny Cates DC book where we're just doing wacky shit, fun things, yet there's other stuff for other readers in this book where it's fitting into continuity, and so they love it too. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. And the fact that Billy Olsen, is that his name?
Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen is the ultimate hero that this tinkerer is looking for. It just is the cherry on top. Like,
yeah,
I thought it was good. It just felt fresh and new, yet still had that classic comic DC vibe. That if I'm being quite honest, other books are trying to do, and it feels incredibly forced. Whereas when Wade and Mora do it, it feels genuine. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I mean, it is nice a little bit to just be able to step away from current DC continuity and be able to feel like I'm still getting the best of the best. You know, like right now, like I don't know, you can easily step away from. A lot of those books right now are like mediocre. We're not seeing like our all-star creators on it, but like here we are, and like seeing Dan Mora do just a fun book, I'm like super excited about it. Now,
yeah.
They're also doing. We keep shitting on Absolute. They're doing Absolute Power, and I think it's time for us to stop shitting on it.
It's not okay. You're right. We should stop shitting on it. But I guess for me, I think for me the reason why I'm just not interested in it, and I think it speaks volumes because, like we're saying, Wade and Mora are on the main book. Like they're on the main Absolute Power book, but like to me, Amanda Waller is not this DC universal threat.
Yeah.
And they're making her to be that, and I'm like, I don't care. So yeah, am I gonna probably read it? Yeah. Am I gonna do the tie-ins? Hell no. Outside of any book that's actually dealing with it that's in my pool, but like I can't. Let's see here. John says there have been no bad Ultimate books so far. I'm so in. Also, before we leave Marvel, everyone grab their Deadpool Wolverine tickets. Shows are already selling out. I haven't yet, but I'm sure. Nate, we should go see that together.
I agree.
We should go see that together. All right, cool. It's a date. All right, let's keep moving. This is our last book? No, second to last book. Nightwing, issue number 114. Overall, I enjoyed it. You know, we're finally back on the Heartless storyline. If there's any criticism, it's why didn't we do this? Like, why have we not?
Why did it take so long to get here?
Yeah, like I just don't understand it. I just don't understand why it took so long for us to get to this point. Like I don't know if it was summer events. I don't know if it was. I don't know what it was, because like it feels like it's been 2 summers since this has happened. Because like we took one of these gangsters, and Babs and Dick took this gangster and tried to hide him in a bunker somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the fourth dimension Nightwig showed up and was like, right, and did funny shit. And then the version of Nightwing, Rick, shows up, and then after that we had the pirate thing, and then like it just was it felt like I got completely derailed.
Yeah.
Putting all that aside, I liked it. I liked the ruthlessness of Heartless, and just his dedication to making Dick's life absolutely horrible. That's what I've been wanting, and so I really hope that I hope it's good. I think it will be. I don't see this ending poorly. I think Taylor's going to stick the landing. Yeah, but I guess for me, what's just frustrating is like, why did it take us so long to get here? Like, is it like, I don't know. Questions. I've got questions with no answers.
Yeah. I'm happy to have Redondo back on the book.
Mm-hmm.
It hadn't been so long, but I'm intrigued enough. I think everyone needs to set expectations. I have a hunch that Taylor is going to leave this
Open-ended.
Open-ended. I think he's going to say, "Hey, like this, look what I've done with this, but here, new writer, I've left it exactly the way it would be for you to get to pick and choose what you want to do from what I've done. Leave it as it is." I don't think he's going to make any like massive, bold, brash, crazy, like cut his hand off or something.
Oh, like in Batman. Anyway, Chip, what are you doing? John says,
complaining about it.
Jim and Nate, if you see the movie together, you should do a quick out of theater reaction video.
We totally will do that.
I love that. All right, let's keep moving. Last book of the night, we got Wonder Woman issue number 9. Did you read this?
I did.
Okay. Did you read the issue prior?
Yeah, I read 2 issues of Wonder Woman.
Wow. What'd you think?
So I'm here for the people.
I'm here for the people. What'd you think?
I really liked this issue.
It was a fantastic issue. It was almost my pick of the week.
Taylor, I always get
King.
King learned to keep his mouth shut a little bit. Let Sam Perry do some work. Be brief for him.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
it was still wordy.
When you see this, like he's not being brief like a kid. He's not being brief. There's still a lot of words. A lot of words.
Yeah, but
that double
it was
splash
their words.
page was long, but like I really enjoyed this internal monologue, seeing the visual manifestation of this internal mental struggle, high concept, and it was executed very well.
Mm-hmm. No, I thought it was a really good issue. I liked the paneling. This reminded me of his Mr. Miracle run. Like, it finally felt like we were just, like you're saying, like the issue prior, issue 8, was much like this in the sense that we were dealing with this internal mental state. Yet we had the square ramblings of the villain throughout it. And I did skip him. I was like, I'm not reading it. I'm just not. Like, I'm not doing it. I know, because it's just him like, hey, look at how big my dick is. I've got Wonder Woman where I got her. Like, I got her exactly where I want her. But that issue was fun, and this issue was just a continuation of that. But we didn't have that voice, and I thought it
not
made
until
this
the very
issue,
end.
well, not until the very end,
page,
but yeah. But even then, it was fine. But I just think that made this issue so much more impactful because we didn't have it. We just had her voice, literally. Like, well, that's all we had.
Exactly.
It was great. I loved it. I loved the artwork. I thought the artwork was fantastic.
Okay, like the artwork is like, it was so good.
Yeah.
Really good. That double splash page where they're like that was.
And here's something else I'm gonna say, and I say it about She-Hulk too, but I'm gonna say it here. I appreciate. What I really like about this run is Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman. Like, she is an Amazon in this book. In other DC books, it's like she almost feels dainty. But in here, it's like, no, like, don't fuck with Wonder Woman. Like, she is Wonder Woman. And I feel like, say the name of the artist again?
Daniel Semperi, I believe.
Semperi. Okay, so Semperi. Like,
I do my best.
No, you're fine. I think King and Semperi they probably had discussions and said, like, we're gonna do a Wonder Woman book, and it's gonna be Wonder Woman, you know? And like, I like the acknowledgement of that rather than like I feel like what was it 2 issues ago? We had a tie-in artist, and it felt like that artist was like, now we're going back to that, and we kind of went back to that framework again. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like stay true to I feel like the actual concept of the character, which is like Amazon, like Wonder Woman is a badass bitch. Like she you know, you don't fuck with her, man. But
well, and that issue is the issue you hated because to get a present.
Batman a present, right?
That was the only issue he's missed.
But here's the other thing: the contrast between how she's portrayed in the book visually and what she's dealing with in the book, right? You've got this warrior who is incredibly fragile at the moment and mentally is broken and is being broken. And just seeing the contrast between those two ideas is incredibly powerful. And so I think that's what made this book even better. You know what I mean? Like, just like when she's fighting I forget his name, but the boyfriend, essentially. Like, there's that panel when she's about to throw a fist with him.
Steve.
Yeah. And you just see like there's motion in the stillness of those panels. Yeah. And then you just see all that weight of her mental state just come falling down and crushing down, and she hugs him, and you're like it just feels impactful. And I think the artwork was just really good in here. So I dug it. You know, I know we're getting ready to have an ultimate power or whatever the fuck it's called tie-in in this book.
Absolute power.
Absolute. So we'll see how that goes. But I liked it. It was very close to being my pick of the week. Holden says, I liked how the setting changed every page, made it feel like a lucid dream. 100%.
Yeah.
Shit,
John,
gotta get those.
Sorry,
Nope.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, Patty, need to get shit. I'm gonna look at tickets. John said, any chance I could convince you guys?
Ghost Machine
Rook
bandwagon.
Exodus, that's the Geiger stuff.
So Rook, I have issue 1 and 2. I just haven't read it yet, and I need to, because the artwork in Rook, chef's kiss. Like looks really good.
Now, there aren't a lot of people that could convince me to jump on that stuff. Mainly because I didn't really enjoy Geiger, the first 5-issue run, that much.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big Jeff Johns fan. Not as a writer, but his personal problems are enough to irk me. And the book I didn't like to start with, I didn't enjoy anyway. That's why I jumped off. However, John, you are one of the people that can clearly convince me. So I will look at the first issue of those. See what's going on.
Rook, or
I don't want to miss out on good things. Well, there's 3
Rook.
of them.
Well, yeah, I'm just
Junkyard Joe and Rook.
I'm just saying Rook looked dope. And I, like I said, I have the first 2 issues, but I remember like scanning through Rook and I was like, holy shit, this looks amazing. I just never got to it.
Yeah. I'll look into it.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for episode 175 or issue 175 of Two Fat Guys Pulls. Thanks for everyone that has been watching this as a live episode, and thank you to everyone that is watching this as a past episode. We do dearly appreciate you. We'll catch you guys this Tuesday. We'll have a whole new comic book day video, which I actually don't have that many books. I think it's one of these like end of the month. Not going to have a lot of books, but I say that, and then you're like, I got 15 independents.
No, I think next week we have 11 books, maybe 10.
I only have 6.
Okay, well, I have 11 listed.
But
we'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Well, you'll find out on Tuesday what books make the cut on this coming Wednesday. So yeah, we'll catch you guys this Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we'll talk about these new comic books on my birthday. Hey. And then we'll catch you guys Sunday where we'll review all of them and have a silly goose time. And it's going to be great. So, as always, fam, be kind to one another and read more comics. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you. Thank you again. And thanks to all of our members. Patty, John, Holden, Joe. We love you. Goodbye. All you fatties.
All you fatties.
All you fatties. All right, we'll see you guys later.